Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to do something a little bit different. Today I'm here to do a follow-up video to a previous video, my video for Season 2, Episode 8 of Severance. Since I posted that video, my general thing that I do, I get my notes together, I record my video, I post it, and then I see what the streets are saying. And after I posted my video, I saw that by and large, the streets kind of agree with me. A lot of people weren't big fans of that episode. Actually, a lot of people are a lot harder on it than I was. I just thought that it failed to achieve the goal that it set out to. I didn't think it was like a bad episode or anything like that. Like, I just didn't enjoy it. But regardless, there's also people who found that episode to be really great. And I wasn't going to do any kind of follow-up. My opinion is my opinion. It's not going to change. Because it's my authentic opinion, it's nothing other than that. So there's usually no need for a follow-up video. But I want to do this one because after I watched the Season 4 premiere of The Righteous Gemstones, which in my opinion had a similar goal in what it was trying to achieve, I thought this would be a good time to do this video and kind of provide this follow-up to not provide context, although we're going to be using that terminology a lot, but to kind of be a companion piece. Yeah, that's a lot better. To the Season 2, Episode 8 video for Severance. So I want to start with laying out my premise and stating what I'm not saying, because I know how much people like to twist people's words so that they can argue with you. Like, they just want to argue, so they're going to pretend like you said something other than what you said. I'm not about to say or make the case that Righteous Gemstones is a better show than Severance. I'm not. I don't believe it. I have a whole bunch of videos covering Severance here to prove it. Not saying that. I'm not even saying that the Season 4 premiere of Gemstones was a better overall episode than Season 2, Episode 8 of Severance. I'm not even saying that. What I am saying is that both episodes had the goal of providing context for their characters. And I think that Gemstones did a better job of providing its context than Severance did. Severance wanted to provide context to Harmony Cobell and fill in some of her backstory, presumably to help to help justify the upcoming face turn that I think she's probably about to take. But I think it also wanted to provide some context into Lumen's past as well. Gemstones wanted to provide context into the Gemstone family past and how Elijah Gemstone got on the path of becoming a religious man and thus set his family and his descendants on the same path. It established this idea of how someone with nefarious intentions who is dishonestly using religion to self-serve can be authentically converted into a true believer. That's how the Gemstones kind of are today, right? Like, it feels like they're hustlers, and to a degree they are, but they also are true believers. They're not completely hustling. And after watching Gemstones, the Season 4 premiere, I feel like that episode did a better job of filling in blanks and painting a clearer picture of where the Gemstones came from and why they are the way they are today than Severance did of accomplishing that same goal for Harmony Cobell. So, like I said in my video for that episode, we spend most of the Severance episode with no idea what the fuck is going on. We don't know who that one guy is. I still can't. He's just that guy. I don't know. I can't tell you his name. Can't tell you his relation to Harmony. Nothing. We don't know who that guy is. We don't know who Sissy is. We don't know what happened in this town. We don't know why these people don't like one another. We don't know what happened to Harmony's mom. It was just an unenjoyable watch and experience. And there's no amount of, I'm not going to say no amount, but it would take a massive amount of, at the end of an episode to justify a 90% unenjoyable watch. And we get these like little nuggets of information here and there, but like, I'm not willing to get to the end of the episode with that little bit of information I get and then retroactively go back and be like, that was a great episode. When the reality is that I spent most of the episode wondering what the fuck was going on and why I should care. So being in that state for 95% of an episode does not a good episode make. Then you've got people like extrapolating extra data that I don't think was there on the screen. Like, for example, I've heard people say that Lumen got its start in this town, Salt Neck. I've heard people say that Harmony invented the Severance thing, the whole Severance idea. And I don't think the episode confirmed either of those things. Like, that sounds like a reach to me in order to make this episode more informative than it was. For example, Harmony came up with the ideas for, she said specifically, the overtime contingency, the Glasgow block. Those are features that would be added to an already existing severance procedure. Like you can't, like if severance doesn't already exist as a procedure, you don't need the overtime contingency or the Glasgow block. And I'm not even saying that Harmony didn't invent the severance concept in that ether factory. Like maybe they were like, hey, we're doing all these things with ether, we fucking these kids up. Maybe we should make it so they don't know what happened. Maybe that was her idea. I'm just saying that's not confirmed in this episode. Like I said in my video, we learned very few specific details, very like broad overarching things. Like we learned that there was an ether factory. We learned that kids did something there. We don't know what. Like he says child labor, and child labor is bad no matter what they were doing. I'm not saying that we have to know in order for child labor to be bad. But again, sitting there wondering what they did is not an enjoyable watching experience for me. Like, yeah, there was child labor. like what kind of child labor? Like I'm watching a TV show here. Like give me some information. Like it's not even until the end of the episode that I can speculate based on Harmony saying that she hasn't done the ether since she was 8. Prior to that, all I knew was the vague description of child labor. Now I can be like, okay, they was probably giving them ether when they was kids, but that's it. To that point, we don't know who that guy is in relation to Harmony. Like I said, we can only speculate. Was he a coworker, an ex, both? As soon as she arrives in town, she goes into the cafe and they immediately start glaring at one another. And he's like, okay, I'm like, okay, I guess these two must have had a falling out in the past, right? And we spend the whole episode with the two of them interacting and alluding to some sort of conflict and never find out what happened between them. Like, we don't know what Lumen did to that town. We can speculate. There was an ether factory. Kids possibly were working in it, which we can only really know because that guy said child labor and because she said she hasn't done ether since she was 8. That's the little bit of information that we can get to assume that kids worked in this ether factory. That's useful information. But what did Lumen do to the town? Why is it so run down? What problem was Lumen trying to solve with the ether factory that was presumably solved by Severance? And I'm not saying I need the answers to these questions. All I'm saying is that if we want to call this episode world building or a character study, it didn't do a great job of building the world, and it did an even lesser job of studying the character. Like, we don't even find out who Sissy is in the episode. You got to watch the fucking after show to find out that she's Harmony's aunt. So yeah, this episode gave you a little bit of information that if you so choose, you could take that little bit of information and run with some speculation. But most of the episode was spent wondering about a lot of important things that the episode was showing me, but not giving me any answers to the things that it was making me wonder about. And any answers I did get aren't going to make me pretend that sitting around wondering what the fuck was going on the whole time, what happened to this town and why all these people are at odds with each other, wasn't an unenjoyable experience for me. I just feel like the only thing I know for sure is that Lumen did something shitty to this town and these people are at odds with each other over it. That's it. I don't call that very much world building or character building. I don't think we could say that we learned anything more than that. I don't think that qualifies as sufficient character study or sufficient world building, and that's clearly what they were going for, and to me, I felt like they came up short. Conversely, Righteous Gemstones told a story that was both informative and entertaining to watch. And spoilers for the Gemstones premiere, by the way, but the episode was entirely flashback. None of it's present day. It all takes place during the Civil War. Yes, I said that, the Civil War. So nothing I'm going to say is spoiling the season going forward. But again, technically, spoilers for episode 1. So right away, we're introduced to Elijah Gemstone, who we've heard about, and quickly learn that he's a piece of shit who usurped the identity of a corrupt preacher. He intended to just kill this preacher, this guy named Abel Greaves, and take the collection plate money, but instead he stumbles across authorities and gets assigned to be chaplain for a Confederate unit during the Civil War. And over the course of the episode, we see how he transitions from being a murderer and a con man into what is the term that I used earlier? A true believer. So now they got Bradley Cooper for this fucking role and somehow kept it secret until the premiere, because I had no idea that he was going to be in this. And Bradley Cooper is front and center the entire time, and he's fucking awesome. Like, by and large, it's like his Hangover character, just in a Gemstones context. And my point of mentioning that is, unlike the Severance episode, even if you felt that what you learned about the gemstone history was inadequate and it didn't give you enough character study or enough world building, the episode was entertaining as fuck the whole time, both with humor from Bradley Cooper and with just watching the story that was playing out during the Civil fucking War. And this is high level shit too. Like, it wasn't like shittily done. Like, this was a really good looking episode. There's a really great scene. The scene where Elijah's crew gets attacked by the Union. It's genuinely thrilling and exceptionally directed. So like, this episode was entertaining. I'm not even saying it was good. It was entertaining. So like, if you felt the same way about this that I felt about Severance and that it was inadequate with the world building, you can't say it was boring. You can't say you sat there wondering what the fuck was going on. It was a really entertaining episode. Most importantly, we come out of the episode understanding how the family got its start, the Gemstone family. And I'm also willing to bet that this episode is going to provide context for what we're going to see going forward in present day during the season as well. So after watching the Severance episode, all I felt was frustration with getting little information during a largely boring episode that was only boring because it relied on context that it never gave. Conversely, the Gemstones episode was not only a highly entertaining watch on its own, but it did a better job of giving context as to how the Gemstone family came to be and why they are the way they are. For what I've seen since I posted my video, I'm not alone in this assessment. Like I said earlier, lots of disappointment surrounding the Severance episode, and a lot of people who are with me in saying, not a bad episode, but probably the least of the series and not particularly enjoyable. And I'm not saying people aligning with me makes me right or makes me wrong, but what I am saying is that it's proof I'm not full of shit here, people. But a lot of people walked away from this episode, or walked away from an episode of a show that they love, feeling disappointed. And where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, no one started this episode expecting or wanting to not enjoy it. Like, conversely, I'm certain everybody who hit play on that episode of Severance was super excited to watch it and expecting it to be fucking great. So for so many people who turned it on with a mindset of, I expect this to be good, to walk away going, I didn't like that, it says a lot about what the episode did, or more specifically failed to do. So that's all I got. I just want to get that little bit off my chest. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and until next time, peace.